Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Travel Professionals Skillnet. This is our first webinar, and I'm very happy to introduce Carol Smith, who will be presenting today on Facebook for the Travel Page. The Travel Professionals Skillnet is funded by member companies and the Training Network Programme, an initiative of Skillnet Limited, funded from the National Training Fund through the Department of Education and Skills. I'm going to hand you over to Carol now.
Okay, thanks, Fanula, and good morning to everybody. I'm using a speakerphone, guys, so if there's any problems at all hearing me, just let me know, and I'll pick it up under my shoulder. So for the moment, is everybody able to hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start. We've decided. Okay, today, we were talking about looking at this and doing a series of webinars around social media. So this, if you like, would be the starting point. So we're going to be looking at Facebook marketing from the get-go as such. Okay. Let me back up a little bit. Fanula introduced me, Carol Smith. My company is Syneo. That's S-Y-N as in synergy and Neo as in new. So Syneo. I worked in the travel industry for many years. I'm not sure if from everybody on the call, but I've worked in Trig, Sparters, Executive, and with Sabre for many years before moving into business coaching and online marketing. And I've been working with the Travel Skillnet since early last year, and I've worked with a lot of agents around the country in various aspects of social media, from the strategic side of things to actually doing the training on the various different social media platforms that are out there other than just Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and so on. So with that, what I've tried to do is actually design this very short course so that it fits with you guys who are all using Facebook to promote your company. So you're using this marketing medium to use to actually promote your company. So it was primarily going to be around the back end, as it was the first session, the back end of Facebook, because if you don't have that right, it affects a lot of things. I'll go into that. I've thrown in a couple of other things as well, which I hope will be useful for you. So anyway, let's start. And I may just ask you, I know at the end of the session we'll have some time for Q&A. I might just ask as we go through various pieces of this, if there is a question. So if you have a burning question, jot it down and, throw it out there, and let's just see how we go for time. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's go on to the first slide. I'm just going to have a look at the end. Okay, so the agenda, very quickly, is going to be, and it's going to be very brief, guys. It's going to be a little bit on strategy. For the simple reason that, I work with a lot of companies who have already been using Facebook for their marketing, but they've gotten into it for reasons like their competitor down the road is using it, or everyone else is using it, and therefore they should be using it. Strategy is a lot more than that. So I'm going to touch on a few questions really around that for you in a moment. So if you can have a pen and paper handy, that would be great. So you'll have something concrete to take away from this call. And then we're going to look at the back end of a Facebook brand page. Now, for some of you, maybe you're pretty hot on this and you've done it, but Facebook changes continually. There are lots of changes. And one thing to remember is Facebook brand pages are now ranked by Google. They are ranked by Google. So it's important to make sure that the information that you have in there is correct. And also with the new rollout of graph search, which may mean nothing to you, but right now this is something that Facebook is rolling out. Again, it becomes really important that the information you have set up for your brand page at the very outset is correct. So we go through this, and as I say, hopefully we'll have some time for questions as well for you. Now, pen and paper if you can have it, because this is a little strategy, and as I say, I would do a whole session on this or work with a company even for a half day doing brainstorming around this. But just, I want you to think about for a moment why your brand page is actually on Facebook. Why are you using it? I'd like to jot down a quick answer to that, other than competitors using it, other than everybody else is using it. Why is your company using Facebook? Let's just jot down a quick answer on that, okay? The next question I'm going to ask you is, why should anyone care what you have to say on Facebook? So why would somebody who's visiting your Facebook brand page, why would they care about what you have to say? Again, just write something down very quickly on that. And then again, why should anyone engage with something that you put on your Facebook page? Why would they comment on it? Why would they like it? Why would they want to share it with their family and friends, with their own online community? And then why would anyone want to return to your page after they officially liked it? And remember, guys, that likes on pages don't mean very much anymore. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So, you know, the whole thing about it is, you could say to me, "You've got a Facebook brand page, could you like it?" And because I like you, yeah, okay, I could like your page, but I may never visit it. So why would I want to return to your Facebook page?
Sorry, can I pause you for a moment, Carol? Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, there's just somebody must have the phone very close to their mouth because there's a massive breathing interruption coming across the line. So I'm not asking anybody to stop breathing, but could you maybe move the phone a little bit? Thank you. Sorry, Carol, carry on. Apologies for interrupting.
No worries, that's grand. So just going back to this, the reason I put these questions in here for you is just to understand that if you don't really know, if you're not really sure about why you're on Facebook, why you're using it to promote your company, what often happens is that you get a burst of enthusiasm, you go on and put content on, and then after a while you lose the will to decide it because you hit that lull period because you've run out of steam. So unless you know why you're on there, unless you have a very concrete view about what it is you're trying to achieve, it will impact on the kind of content that you're going to be putting out onto your page. So as I say, I would spend a lot of time on this kind of stuff, but just, you know, for this session here, I just want you to take this little bit away, okay? I'm going to move on a little bit. For now, I want you to think about right now to step out of the shoes of being an online marketer, which is what every one of you are on this call today. I want you now to step into the shoes of the person who might visit your Facebook page. Now, and I want you to think about why they might turn to your page. And if you'll allow me to do this, okay, I'm going to read you this quote out from Mark Twain. So this is something that he wrote some time ago. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowline, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Now I highlighted the last three words because for most of us, those three words will capture the reasons that we want to travel. We want to explore new places, new people. We want to dream about that destination we've never been to, the bucket list, the honeymoon, the perfect honeymoon. We want to discover new places. That's what most people are when they're thinking about travel. That's kind of the stuff that comes up for them. And for you guys as travel agents, you need to be tapping into that desire for travel. And I'm going to show you why, because as travel agents, you are dream makers. You're the guys that can actually help someone, the user on the other end, fulfill that dream to travel, to see something different. So your expertise, your passion for travel, and your knowledge is really, it makes you such an invaluable resource to somebody actually visiting your Facebook page. And that's the kind of stuff that you should be thinking about putting out there. Now, admittedly, you know, obviously the deals are important, but remember, it's not all about just punching out deals. It's got to be so much more. Now, as I say, this is just touching on the kind of things that when it comes to content that your user is looking for. And again, I've spent a lot more time. Just want to touch on that, okay? Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the setup of your page, okay? Because again, this is important. So again, what we've moved from is why you should be on Facebook, or why you why you want to be on Facebook, what you should be doing on Facebook, and now looking at making sure that your setup is correct. For those of you on the phone, I'm guessing that you're all admins. You're familiar with brand pages. If you go onto the brand page, you'll know at the top of the page you've got your admin panel, and it's where your edit page is. Now, there's been some changes, as I mentioned, with Facebook. We're going to be going in here and we're going to look at some of the settings to make sure that yours is correct for you. Again, going back to the fact that it's important for your SEO, for Google ranking, and that's important, particularly if you're a small company. You want to boost your ranking, your search ranking, as much as possible. So we're going to look at that. I've just put in another screenshot. I did this as backup, really, just in case. We've been live to make sure everything is okay. But I wanted to make sure that you understood as well that when you're actually putting your setup in place, and we'll look at this now in a moment, that you know who you are and what you do. And you have the option to put in, if you want, that you're a company or an organization and that you do travel and leisure. Now, again, I'll show you that in the back end because you may. The other thing is a username for your page. We're going to be looking at the Skillnet page in a moment. And they have not created their username for the page. And I'm going to show you. So for some of you on the call, you may already understand what this means. For others may not. So we're going to have a look at that now. Okay, so I'm going to go live. So hopefully this is going to work okay.
Lovely. I haven't done any tampering with my Facebook page. Just, you know, I would like to buy if anything.
Okay, is everybody, just tell me, is everybody okay so far? Yeah? Fantastic.
Okay.
Before I move on to this back end, is there any quick burning questions that you have in relation to that? Any questions? Are we okay?
I'm not sure if there's any question coming through there. Can I just make a suggestion? Sorry, folks. If you take a look at your panel there, and just on the left-hand side of the panel, there's a little mute button. There is some disturbance coming either, again, through people's breath or background noises. So it might be useful just to hit your mute button until you have a question, just to save on noise interruption, if that's okay. Thank you very much. Carry on, Carol. Sorry.
All right. Okay, so we're in the Skillnet page. Now, this is a very new page, okay, so just be aware of that. And I'm just going to mention, if we look at, let me just move up here, make sure I can. Oops. Okay, bear with me just one sec while I've gone into the Irish Travel. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is the admin panel at the top of the page that I mentioned there earlier. You should all be fairly familiar with this. What I want to just actually show you at the very top of the page here, you'll see the URL up here is facebook.com, pages, travel professionals, and all of those numerics. That means very quickly that this page has not been set up correctly with their username. I'm going to show you if that's the same for any of your sites, how you can actually change that. Because what you want to have is facebook.com/ABC travel, end of story. Nice clean URL going onto your website, going onto your business cards, any paraphernalia that you're sending out there. So we'll look at that in a minute. I'm going to go down further before I go into the edit page. Very quickly going to show you a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. If you look over here, this is just above, you'll see about, and just above there, Skillnet have chosen to put in text telling you a little bit about what this page is about. All right? Now, so they've chosen to put in education. Yours might be, if you're going to do this, it's going to be travel and leisure, presumably. You have the option, however, and some of you may have done this, whereby you've actually got your company hours in here, your telephone number in here, because what you're doing is, because you've got a shop and you want everybody to know what your shop address is and your telephone number is, you have the choice of actually either having your address and hours of business in here or putting in some text that is about your business. Now, if you haven't got an actual shop, you know, what people actually go into, you might actually want to go choose this route. So it's up to you. It's a decision that you make, okay, and we're going to look at the back end on that. One thing I want you to notice here in the text that's in here at the moment, it's cut off. So what's happened is there's too much text has gone in here, and it means that the sentence is actually cut off midstream, so that doesn't look too good. Also, because of, again, going back to the SEO, search engine optimization, your search ranking in Google, with the changes that are coming in with Facebook, if you are choosing this route, you should make sure that you have in here your URL to your website, a telephone number, something, okay, that will indicate, you know, that will give you some link to your business. So I would suggest the URL should be in here. Now, I'm just going to go up a little bit up above here. And as you see, again, a new page. They've got 29 likes on the page, and they've got 13 talking about the page. That number there, the talking about number, is what it's all about, guys. All right. I looked at a page yesterday. I'm not going to say which one. They had over 4,000 likes on the page, and they had 5 people talking about them. Now, just remember that the likes really nowadays don't matter so much because, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you could ask me to like your page, I could like your page and never come back again. The talking about number means just that. People are engaging, they're liking, they're commenting, they're sharing with their own community. That's the number you need to be focusing on. As I mentioned that page I looked at yesterday, over 4,000 likes on the page. I think there was something like 5 or 6 people talking about them. So there's something wrong. They've either lost a lot of the people have liked their page, they've gone away. They're not putting up content that actually is engaging. So it's really, really important to watch for this number here. Okay, now I'm going to go up here and into the edit page, and you'll see the drop-down menu that comes up. And we're just going to go very quickly through these. How am I in time? Okay, at the very top here, I'm going to go into your settings. I'll go through this as quickly as I can. Now, very quickly, you should really check this, because what will happen is if someone likes a page similar to yours, Facebook could prompt them to like your page as well. So you know what? You're trying to get out to a wider audience, have that checked. Always comment and post on the page as your brand, not as yourself, for professional reasons. The email address that you want notifications to be sent to, you'll have that in there. If you're somebody that, if you're a very small company, you're out on the road a bit, you want to know if there's any comments on your page, what you should do on your phone is have this checked on, so that you get a notification to your Android or your iPhone. And then again, send me a notification on Facebook when people post, like, comment, and so on. This should really be checked. I'm going to check it for Fanula, and then you just save your changes. No problem. Okay, I'm going to go very quickly into managed permissions. What I'm going to say to you is here, age restrictions. Make sure that you have your page, unless you are an adult page, you have your page at the lowest age restriction on Facebook, because if somebody goes on to your, if you put it at 18, for example, if someone goes onto your website and clicks on your Facebook link, what will happen is they'll get the login page, because Facebook cannot determine if they're over 18. If Facebook changes, and there's talk about it, to change the age here to 11, you'll need to change this as well, to make sure, again, that you're not putting a barrier in front of people getting easy access to your Facebook page. On this is a choice. Everyone can post it to your timeline. It would be, to me, makes no sense whatsoever that you have a social page and then you switch it off. I know a lot of some of the airlines have done this. Global brands have done this. GDS maybe have done this, whereby they either don't have the resource globally to manage it, or they've chosen not to for different reasons. To me, it makes sense to actually have have people engage on your page, so you have it checked. Everyone can add photos and videos to your timeline. That's a choice. You could encourage your users to post a photograph of their holiday with a little comment about what they liked best about their holiday. If you have that unchecked, they can't do it. So again, you can switch these on and off as you want to. Show the recent posts by others, yes. Encourage people to put testimonials on your page. It could be, have a fantastic holiday, ABC Travel are wonderful. It's nice to have that on your page, and you can also highlight it. If we're doing this as a webinar, I'm going to show you tips and tricks around all of that. Default visibility should be on your timeline, so that should be as it is. Tagging ability. This is unchecked. It's a decision by your staff whether you want people to tag photographs from your page. Let's just say you put a photo up there of your team. I'm on your team. I look pretty good in that photograph, and I want to share it with my community. I'm going to tag myself because you've got that capability on. It's going to pop up in my personal newsfeed. All my community are going to see it, along with your brand name. So you've got a chance then that they might be interested enough to actually mooch over, have a look at your page and think, you know what, I'm going to come back here. Tagging, I would suggest to you that you do have it switched on. You might take photographs at honeymoon if you're doing sort of wedding fairs, honeymoon things or whatever, and you might take some photographs. And again, encourage people. Tell them that you're going to be posting the photographs up on Facebook and encourage them to tag themselves. Your brand gets out there further, and that's what you're trying to do. Show messages on your timeline, yes, because you want them to privately message you, the ability to do so. Moderation block list. Not so much really with travel does this ever come up. If you were dealing in maybe the mental health and well-being, you might have some words that will be on PC that you might put in there that you don't want people using on your brand page. Profanity block list, I'm going to change this, Vanula. It should really be strong.
Oh dear.
Always suggest that. The privacy of posts on my page. This is if you decided you wanted to put a post up only for those, say for example, in Dublin only. Quite frankly, unless you've got many, many thousands of fans, I really wouldn't bother doing this for the time being, because you're just going to condense your message. You're going to, minimize the audience view. So it's a choice really, but I think it's for bigger brands. This is new, replied. It's unchecked here. Basically, what it is if you post something and say, for example, I come back and say, hey, that's fantastic, and then several others do the similar thing. If you post a reply, you've got to actually try and tag me in the comment, and your comment response to me will come way down the line. The new replies will mean your reply comes in under my comment. Now, it's very blippy at the moment. It's very new, very blippy. If you've got a lot of page fans and a lot of engagement, you might want to wait till the blips are ironed out. However, I would suggest turning it on. I'm going to put it on here on this page because I'm using it on my own page. And quite frankly, right now it's working well for me. If it gets a bit weird, I'm going to switch it off. Again, you can turn things on or off as and when you need them. I'm going to save the changes on this pretty quickly. I'm going to go to basic information here. I've been here, haven't I? Have I done this? Okay, maybe not, no. Just on this one, companies and organizations, if you remember on the Skillnet page, it showed up the text and it had education just above it. That's a choice that Skillnet have made. If you want to have your address up there, you'll go local business, and they don't have, strangely enough, travel and tourism in here, which is really weird. So if you go down to, and it is here somewhere, local business, what will happen is, oh, not church and organization, local business even. What will happen now is, where we were looking at the Skillnet page where they had text explaining a little bit about Skillnet, what will come up now is their hours of business, their telephone number and their address, which is perfectly fine if you have a shop that you might want people to know where you're located. So just again, that would be a choice that you make yourself. I'm going to go back and show this. And as I say, you would put in leisure, education is here. You would put in leisure and travel there, okay? Ignore this. I've seen travel companies use this. This is a community page, or it's like it could be used for example, if you set up a fan page for a band or something like that. So ignore it, okay? You can put in subcategories. If you remember you could put in something like, it's not great on Facebook. It would be great if you could put in something like honeymoons, if you specialize in a particular area, or ski packages or something like that. This is where you could put in your subcategories. Remember I said username. At the moment, Skillnet haven't gotten theirs right. Now I'd have to go into, I'm going to have to do this and show you what I mean. So you've got Travel Professional Skillnet. For them to find out if that's available to them, they need to type it in here and then check the availability. What happens is, if it's available, They can accept it, confirm it, and then what will happen is they'll have a nice URL up here, a nice clean URL. So if your URL isn't clean at the moment, it means you need to go in and set up your username there for you. Let me hopefully go back here and see if I can get back to where I was. Yeah, okay. Your address as is, sometimes Facebook is a bit dodgy, or Google's a bit dodgy about Irish addresses. You probably know that already. So the map may not be too great. If you're putting your address in there, it is trying to map it, which can be useful for to find you. The name of your page does not have to be the same as your URL. So you could be ABC Travel, and your page could be Honeymoon Specialist or something like that. Okay, just to be aware of that. You should always select your start date, or founded or started should always be on your page. Again, it becomes more important when you're putting in things like milestones. You can't do it without having that in there. The description that the Skillnet has in is too long, as we mentioned already, and it should be edited. And again, for SEO and for ranking, as they've chosen to go this way, the URL should be in here. So if this is what you're doing, I want you to take on board that you should have something in here in relation to a little snappier and punchier, and also with your URL address. Okay, I'm just going to, move down here. Mission statement, yeah, and the rest you can actually fill in quite easily, and then you just do your save your changes. Now, I'm looking at time, and I just want to go on to something that is extremely important, that is your admin roles. Be very aware of the fact, particularly if you're a small business, that you should have at least 2 managers on your Facebook page. Not unknown to be locked out of Facebook because you put in the wrong password. And sometimes when we do that, we get all, kind of hassled, and then we go in again, and then we're thrown out by Facebook. If you're thrown out, it means you're thrown out of your brand page. So make sure you have another manager on your brand page so that at least you have access to your page. There are different levels of admin access, but you need at least 2 managers, okay? If someone leaves who is a manager on your page, make sure you take them off because they have the ability to delete your page, just saying, okay? Now, that is really, really quick, and I'm conscious of time. We are coming up to the time here, so I'm going to go back to my slides. I know that we're rushing a little bit here, so forgive me for that, but I want to make sure you guys get off the call as you should do. So we've kind of hit the back end here, okay? I'm just very quickly going to say to you, when it comes to content, if you've got everything set up, when it comes to content, and again, hopefully we'll do another webinar and it'll be all about content. The big thing that people like, and you're in travel, guys, and travel is about, remember, desire, the place, the things we want to see. Use lots of really good images. You have access to those. And chat with your fans. Please don't ignore your fans. Ignored fans go away. And mix content up with videos, photos, and don't forget, you guys are a natural resource. If you've been away somewhere, post your own personal review. And Carol, I'm just back from blah. It was fabulous, and it's perfect for couples, or it's perfect for families. And it doesn't have to be a blog. It doesn't have to be 400 words. A couple of lines, just shoot it out there. And the 80-20 rule, 80% has got to be about relating with your community. 20% is the hard selling, your broadcasting, your deals. Keep that in mind. You're building a community. As you're building that community, what happens is if they begin to like what you're putting out there, they learn to trust you. If they learn to trust you, they will buy from you. We buy from whom we trust. And, okay, I'm just throwing these in, guys, so when you get off the call, I want you to have a look at these pages. The Jet Setter kind of says what it does in a tin, really. That, these guys are high-end. Have a look at the images. Have a look at their Zen moment, that they send out every day. STA Travel in UK, really out there for engaging, really good with images. And then the last one I have in here, Intrepid Travel, won the award for the best small business on for a Facebook brand page because they're so good at what they do. So I want you to have a look at those. So Intrepid Travel, statravel.uk, and Jet Setter to get some ideas about what you can do on your page. And we've reached our last slide, more or less. So I know it's very quick. Has anyone any questions that they would like to ask about anything that I've covered? Okay, let me ask you a question. Has it been useful for you?
Yes.
Well, absolutely, Carol. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there's no questions that you have. If you have questions, guys, I'm just going to put that out to you. I have my own brand page. If you have questions afterwards, some of you may already be familiar with it. If you have questions afterwards, what you can do is you can check me out and you can send me over, either post a message on the page or you can PM me with a question that you might have. Again, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out to listen to this. I know we sped through that, but hopefully you've gotten something out of it that might be useful for you that you can take back into your managing your own Facebook page. So that's me, Carol Smith from Cineo. Thank you. Fionnuala?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Carol. I'll certainly have a little bit of work to do. It's nice having my own Facebook page gone through. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending, and I hope you got something really useful out of that today. I know I certainly learned a little bit out of it myself. Hopefully we'll be able to do more of these webinars. I'll be forwarding evaluation materials to you all, and it would be greatly appreciated if you could come back to you with that. And I'd love to hear your feedback on how you feel it went and what you might like to hear in the future from the Travel Professionals Skillnet. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll hopefully see you all again soon.